My name is Shannon van Sant. I'm a reporter and documentary filmmaker, and today I'm talking about the compromises that people make to work and live in China. My talk is really based on my personal experience in China, and China is a place of contradictions, of course. Its economy, of course, has been booming the last few decades. It's a rising world power. And because of that, it's a place of tremendous opportunity, both for the people in China, Chinese nationals, but also people like myself, Wellesley alums, who are looking to make a difference in the world and build a career in international relations. So my talk is about some of the sticky situations you get yourself into in China, both as a Chinese national, but also as an expatriate, and some of the difficult ethical dilemmas that we all face and have to figure out when you build a career or build a life in an authoritarian country. Well, I think that China, of course, it's becoming a major world power. It's rivaling the United States, and it affects everybody's lives. And so even for people who don't choose to live there, who are not going to build their career in China or their life like I have, everybody's life is increasingly going to be impacted by China's rise in all kinds of ways, economically, but also China, because it's having a bigger voice in the world, increasingly it's shaping the values of this world. And just like the United States has shaped the values and the goals and the ideals and aspirations that people have around the world, China also is another voice added to that global conversation, and it's a voice with increasing weight, increasing power and influence. So everybody's life, from small towns in the United States to villages I've been to in Africa, their lives are being shaped in both seen and unseen ways by China's rise. So that's why we have to, I think, look very hard and long at what are the compromises people make both to live in China and to do business with China. I would love if they took away the Wellesley values of making a difference, being a leader in this world, speaking openly about the things that they believe are right. But I also think that both educators at Wellesley and other schools, as well as students at Wellesley, future women leaders, I really think carefully about this world and how it's changing and what leadership means. We know what leadership means in the United States. We can look at role models such as Hillary Clinton or Cokie Roberts or Madeleine Albright, and they are fantastic models for how to be a leader in the United States. But the question, I think, which is much more difficult right now and much more complex, is how do you be a leader in China? If you're a Chinese alum, how do you lead in China? If you're a Western alum, how do you lead in China and other countries around the world that do not necessarily always share our ideals, and where you can be punished for speaking out? And I don't have the answers to these questions. I can't provide a guideline or a roadmap, but I think that's something that people in America are going to be dealing with over the next few decades. And it's something that we are starting to think about now and have to look at very closely. The one thing we're taught here at Wellesley is to be a leader, and part of that is pushing for change and pushing to make the families that we are in, the societies that we live in, any community that we engage with, any corporation or entity that we engage with, to push to make them better places, and to constantly push for things to be better and greater, and to be to recognize all of the values that we cherish as human beings in this world. And so my advice to alums in China is to tackle these issues aggressively, whether they're in business and economics, or they're in journalism like myself, or they work for an NGO, to not shy away of thinking very hard about these incredibly complex issues, and to not shy away about pushing for change, even if it's small change, even if it's subtle change in any way that they can. And not just in China, but that's true in the United States. It's true in every community you may find yourself in. There's always room for improvement. So the question is, how do you do that? Can you do that in a nuanced way? Is it better to speak out, even if you risk big things to do that? Or is it better to quietly push for change? The answers are different in every situation, but to look for that and to constantly have a compassion for the cultures and the countries that they work in, for the history. China has a very difficult and violent history, lots of political upheaval over the last century, and to recognize that, have compassion for that and how it shapes the policies of today. But then also think about how can you push for positive change in any arena while also being respectful of the people that you're working with.